All right, welcome back. So, if we pick up from where we left off on last time we created this load happy birthday. We defined happy birthday, I think, within the backdrop. Or we defined load happy birthday here. And it says when we click the green flag, it loads happy birthday. So that now it creates this list, and I can play the song based on the notes that scroll down the screen. Actual song starts at 5 seconds. And we have our note changes in here. And so that's all stuff that I had added to the code. You can see it scroll down the screen. And if I press the buttons at the right time, it would play the notes. All right, so that's what we did last time. Today, we're going to look at this code again, and we're going to say, how can we make it better? So we've run the happy birthday script, but if I look at this code, it's not very nice looking. Looking at just this piece, there's a lot that's going on here, and it doesn't look very clean. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to create code that looks clean, so that when someone looks at it, they can easily figure out exactly what's happening and uh, be able to replicate it. You want people to be able to use your code so that they can accomplish things based off of what you've done so far. So that's really the last step of this. So we're going to clean this code up and make it look nicer. And then we're going to create a score for when it's actually doing it properly. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into define, and I'm going to make a new block. So my new block is going to be called clear song, which I think you can guess what that's going to do. That's going to clear the song. And now instead of having delete all of notes and all of times in this block under happy birthday now, I'm going to take delete all of notes and all of times, and I'm going to put that under clear song. So that's now defining that. Now whenever I drag this block over, it's saying everything that happens under here, under our definition, is going to occur there now. And so I can reattach it, and it will act the same way that it had before. It's just nice that there's only one block in there instead of two. We're going to continue through that process. By defining yet another block. So we want to make another block that allows us to specify that a single note is being played at a time that the note should play. This will make our clean our blocks up so that instead of having two for each one of these, I'm actually only having one. So I'm going to make a block. And I'm going to do it so it's add note. We have to redo this. we add note at we'll add another input, time, seconds. So now this block says that we are going to add a note at a certain time in seconds. And now I have to define that. And so when I define that, I'm going to make this add a note to notes. And add a time to times. Instead of doing the note, just typing it in, I'm going to drag this over this variable so that it adds notes and times. Okay, now whenever I do my define load happy birthday, instead of having all this code where I have add 1 to notes and add 5 to times, add 1 to notes, 5.5 to times, I can actually now use my pink block that I just created with add note blank at time blank. I'm just going to simplify now. So by adding this one thing, it makes it so that these two blocks become one. It makes my code easier to read. Now once I've done that, I can get rid of those ones. So this will be add 1 to 5.5. Add 3 to 6. Add 1 to 7. Add 6 to 8. And then add 5 to 9. And so I took that whole strand of blocks and simplified it so that it's just 6 blocks instead of being 12 blocks. Makes it much easier to read, much easier to copy if I'm looking at creating my own stuff. One thing that I missed here is instead of having add note at time, add notes to notes. It should be correct. It's not running the program properly though. I mean, I can touch it at the right times. And I'm not seeing my notes come up here the way that they were, or the way that they should. And note 1 at 5 seconds. Give me 1 second while I look through this. Okay, all that it came down to was I needed to drag note from the pink and time from the pink down to here. Now this should play it properly. You see our times came up like they should. And when I started, it flows down the screen as it should. So we now have our program working properly. The only thing wrong was instead of doing my variable here for note and notes and times, I needed to use the pink one that I created within here just to say that that's where it was coming from. And that's what I was defining. Okay, so now that we cleared it up, let's go ahead and finish the project out. We're just going to create a score. So we're going to create a new variable called score. So go to variables, make a variable, score. And then we're going to place it at the top of the stage. Now I might not want it that big, and if I don't want it that big, I can just click this arrow. Okay, whenever I click it, makes the whole thing go away. So we'll just keep it there. Okay, so whenever we start the score has to be set to 0 whenever we start it. And every time that we want to correct, or that we get the correct note, we should make it so that our score changes. So we're going to go to events. You remember it starts as a clone every time. So we're going to make it when I start as a clone. We already have that section of code in there. We just have to put something new in. And we'll actually put it directly under here. Move this down the screen. I can get rid of this now because we have this section of code in here already. I'm going to put an if-then statement in. I'm going to reattach my delete this clone to that. My if-then statement is going to be if, and it's going to be an equal one. And it's going to be if note, the orange note that is, equals costume number, then Now we'll change this from note to score by 1. Next, we're going to create a broadcast message so that we broadcast a message called correct whenever you play the correct note. So it's going to be broadcast and then new message correct. Click OK there. So that whenever I play the correct note, it broadcasts a message. Then if I click on stage and go to backdrops, you'll notice that there's one that says correct already. So we're going to change our stage so that it lights up green. This is our normal. It'll light up green whenever the correct note is played, and red whenever the incorrect note is played. So I'm going to go, when the green flag is clicked, the backdrop is going to switch to normal. So go up under looks. Switch backdrop to normal. Then when I receive correct, switch backdrop to correct. And then we'll put a wait in. We'll wait a small amount of time. And then we're going to switch the backdrop back to normal. So currently, whenever I do this now, if I start the script, it starts as a yellow, or I don't know what you would call that color, beige. And if I hit the correct note, as you can see, it tells me I'm absolute garbage at this, because I'm only going to score 1. But when I hit the correct note, it lit up green. If I wanted to make it so that it also did an incorrect for the backdrop, then I would go back into note, and instead of an if statement, I would switch if-then statement. I would switch this to an if-then.
Excuse me, Jamal Williams, please call the front office. Jamal Williams, please come to the front office. Thank you.
And else statement. So instead of being if-then, change this to if-then and else. And then for my else, I would do it so that it switches the backdrop to incorrect if I don't play the note at the right time. Alright, that is really it for this project. So now you have to just get a better score than I do, I guess. And that's it. Alright guys, I'll make this project due in... It's kind of a lot of code to add to it. It's obviously a little longer video. So I will make this due, not tomorrow, but I'll make it due Wednesday instead.